You guys are too funny. Can you guys hear me? So I can't with you guys. Mauricio, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. She had the link. That's what it is. All right, I'm sharing something with you guys before we start the math. I want you guys to download this. It's going to be in the Zoom and also in the WhatsApp group, okay? It is in the student portal as well, under the math chapter. All right, guys, make sure you download. You need that before we can start the chapter itself, okay? Chapter 22, it's the chapter that Tamari wants always. Now he's happy. Okay. And don't worry, we're not going to have detention today either. Yep. Tomorrow maybe, Friday maybe, but not today. Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it. I mean, to your son. Yep, Anna, the good old steering wheel. There you go. Again, make sure, guys, everybody has this downloaded before we start. And there's a lot of people that are out still. Come on, let's connect these cameras. Tidy's missing. Tahir is gone. Yara, Natalia. Queenie, you can take the chapters whenever, as many times as you want, but definitely take the exam. All right, let's see. What else we got? All right. Did everybody get Tidy? You're upside down. Did everybody get what I shared right here? Let me know if you haven't been able to download it. You should be either clicking on it or right-click download, or something will show up there that allows you to. Okay. Okay. I also shared in the WhatsApp group. It's also available in the student portal under the math chapter 22 for tomorrow, since math chapter, you know, it's difficult to say. Ria, you got kicked off. What happened? I'll send it one more time. I just sent it. Okay. Again, it's available in the Facebook group. It's available in the WhatsApp. It's available in the Zoom group chat. It's available in your student portal. This is the math cheat sheet. So you guys know it's the last thing you do before you get into the exam, and the first thing you do as soon as you sit down for the exam. So we're going to go over this cheat sheet, guys. Here's what you need to remember. Math, you leave it to the end. So in the state exam, there's going to be an option there for you to mark the question and move forward. Okay? Even if you are good at math, math still takes some time. So don't waste your time even if you're good at it. Okay? Just mark it and leave it to the end. Long questions, I'm going to teach you guys tomorrow. Long questions, we skip. So mark them, leave it to the end. Answer the quick things first, and you'll get done with the majority of the exam within your first hour. Okay? Then you have 3 hours to relax and do the rest. All right? So the last thing you do when you get to the exam, so right before the exam, is look at this cheat sheet, right, that I just told you about. You're going to look at the cheat sheet, and let me open it up here as well, so I'll show you guys. Again, it's the last thing you're going to look at, and it's going to be the first thing you're going to do, because you're going to try to memorize as much as you can of this. All right, so you're going to try to remember as much as you can of this, and as soon as you sit down, what do? They give you a piece of paper, a scrap paper. The first thing you do is write down as much as you can remember. So before touching the computer, before doing anything, the first thing you do, you have a pencil, you have a paper, write down as much as you can remember, because you cannot bring this with you. So take a picture of it mentally, take a picture of this right before you get in, and as soon as you sit down, write down as much as you can remember. It's going to be very helpful when you're there, okay? Okay, so let's go back to this. We're in math, and we're going to start with the best part of it, percentages. Now, the math chapter is going to be easy, for me at least. It's going to be easy because I'm going to do it in roughly 45 minutes to 1 hour. All right? And then I'm going to leave you guys to do a few of these. So then we go over the answers and see if it's correct or incorrect. Okay? So, let's see. Percentages. Now, percentages means percent, and percent means per 100. If you guys remember, we talked about this in the past when we talked about per every $100, right? And I told you to drop the dollar sign. I'm going to show you that again today. And I told you to drop the dollar sign because if it's per 100, it always means percent. So it doesn't matter if it has a dollar sign or not. If it's per 100, it means percent. Okay? You have to remember this. Now, for example, and you guys have the cheat sheet with you as well, but for example, it says right here, 50% means 50 parts of the possible 100 parts that make up the whole, right? And percentages greater than 100%, they contain let me go here, they contain one whole unit. So this is what we're looking at. Imagine you have a pizza pie. Okay? I know it doesn't look like a pizza, but let's think about pizza. It's easier. You have a pizza pie. If you just got the pizza, we have 100% of it, right? And it's one pizza. So 100% equals 1. Now, what happens? What happens when you take a 6% slice? You took a slice. Do we have 100% now? You took a slice. So how much is left over? 94%. Something I want you guys to remember again is this. We get paid first. So we take our 6% cut from, or 7% or whatever, from the whole pie, And the 94% we leave for closing costs, for attorneys. And then whatever's left after that is what the seller actually gets. That's the net sales price. You guys got it? So remember, we once had 100% of the pie, which equals one whole. But then we took a slice, our commission, and 94% after we took a slice is what's left to be distributed for everybody else. That's right, Jeff. Unbelievable, right? Okay. Why am I talking about this? This example you're going to need later on for one of the questions. This you need later on for one of the questions. Now, let's go back here. Let me put another pizza pie, because I said this equals 100%, so therefore equals 1. What if we have 150%? Well, all we're saying 50%. All we're saying is that we have half of another pie. So this equals 0.5. So what do we have here in total? We now have 1.5, which equals 150%. Okay? Easy so far? Okay, because a lot of people have problems with percentages. So I'm going to show you something else. We already showed you how to take from the whole, and now I showed you how to add to the whole. So we have one whole pie plus half of another, 150%. Now, your calculators do have percentage keys, but the result of your calculations always show in decimals. So you need to know how to convert to decimals and how to convert decimals back to percentages. Okay? So it says right here, to convert a percentage to a decimal, all we have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign. So if we have 60%, all they did was move 2 to the left and drop the percent sign. That equals 0.60 or 0.6. Right? You guys can see it? If we have 175%, so one whole plus 75% of another, right? So almost 2 full pizzas, right? Right? So what we do is 2 to the left, and now we have 1.75. But it's not 1.75%, it's 1.75 as a whole number. So we need to take the percent out. And this is what you put in the calculator. What I want to show you, guys, I'm going to erase this. Only because it's right here in the cheat sheet. You have it here in the cheat sheet on top. Okay? It's right here. But what I want to show you guys is let's say your calculator gives you the result. And let's say the result is 1.75. If they're asking you what's the percentage, then 1.75 is not the percentage, right? So let's look at it logically. If, to get to a decimal, we move 2 places to the left, then to get to a percentage, what do? We're going to move 2 places to the right and add the percent. It's as simple as this. Move to decimals or from decimals to percentage. It's either you move 2 places to the left or you move 2 places to the right. In one of them, you drop the percent sign. In the other one, you add the percent sign. Remember, your calculators are always going to give you a number in decimals. They don't give you the number in percentages. So you have to be able to convert to percentages. You guys good? Any questions? Drop it in the chat if you have questions before I move forward. As you're typing questions, if you are, just want to address one of the things, which is in the state exam, school exam, or if you're practicing the exams, right? I recommend that you get a very simple, plain old simple calculator. Because in the state exam and school exam, you cannot use your phone. You cannot use a scientific calculator nor a mortgage calculator. Okay? So make sure you guys buy the simplest calculator you can find. Okay? Simplest calculator you can find. You go to Dollar Tree, and they have big calculators there for $1. Don't buy a $5 calculator or $8 calculator at Staples or Office Max. It makes no sense. Don't go to Walgreens or CVS and spend $7 or $8 either. Go to Dollar Tree or General Dollar or any of those and make sure you get a calculator over there, because that's all you need. Any questions? Nope. All right. Wait. Natalia, good so far? I know this is your favorite subject, so. You know what the good news are about math? There's only up to 8 math questions. Out of 110, there's up to 8. That's the good news for those that don't like math. The bad news is that you still have to answer them. All right. 8 horrible questions, says Carlos. It's not a lot. If you guys nail the other 102, then you're good, right? All right, so percentage problems. Percentage problems, they contain 3 elements. You got to remember this. They contain 3 elements. Percentage, total and part, okay? Now, to determine the specific percentage of a whole, you multiply the percentage by the whole, so percentage times whole equals part. I'm reading fast for a reason. 5% times 200 equals 10. Now, I don't care about this. If you guys know how to do it, great. If you don't know how to do it, I'm going to show you what I call the steering wheel, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to figure out when to multiply or when to divide. Okay? So if you have the cheat sheet, I'm going to show you that now. Here's a question. I'm going to give you the 3 variables of this question. Number 1 is this. A broker is to receive 7% commission on the sale of a $100,000 house. So remember, there are 3 elements. They gave us 2 elements, right? So all we need to do is figure out the third. Correct so far? You guys good? All right. The answer is easy. I know you guys know, right? Don't have to answer now. But I want to show you. You have, in the middle of that cheat sheet, you have this. It's a steering wheel. Okay? I call it a steering wheel because if you guys look at your car, right, there's a big opening on top of the steering wheel, right? When you grab, there's a big opening on top, and there's traditionally 2 small openings in the bottom. Some cars have a third one, but the majority of them is 2 small openings. All I'm trying to show you is there's 1, 2, 3 things that you can put here. Percentage problems contain 3 elements. This tool contains 3 spaces. You have 2, fill in the blanks, and you'll figure out the third. It's as simple as that. Okay? Now, we have P on top is part, portion, or income. Okay? B is the base, the value, or the whole. And R is rate, percentage, or interest. So again, every time you have a part or portion of the whole thing you're trying to figure out, or even income, it goes here on top. Top number, as you guys can see here, top number divides by the bottom number. If it's the base of the question, traditionally the value or the whole, right? So if you have a part on top, then the whole is going to be at the bottom. Then this is where you put it. And obviously the part divides by the whole, or the P divides by B. And if you have a rate, percentage, or interest, it always goes here. top number, so if it's a part, always divides by the rate or interest or percentage. And if you have the whole value and if you have a percentage, then they're at the bottom. So if these two numbers are at the bottom, you multiply to figure out the top number. Simple as that. Okay, so let me show you here. Okay, so the question was, let's go back here. The question was, a broker is to receive 7% commission on the sale of a $100,000 house. What is the broker's commission? We have two numbers. We have commission, which is percentage, right? And we have the sale, which is the value or the base of the question. So when we go here, we need to fill in the blanks, right? They're trying to figure out how much the commission was. Isn't the commission a portion or a small part of the whole thing? Yes? So we're trying to figure out commission. Where does commission go? Can you guys tell me in the chat? Well, we're trying to figure out, where does it go? If it's a part, portion, or income, where does it go? Josh just said top. Of bottom? I don't know what that of bottom goes. All right, top, bottom, bottom, right, bottom, top. You guys are still confused. Good. So let's go back here. We're trying to figure out what the commission is. And the commission is a part or portion of the sale in this case, right? So commission goes on top. That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay? Now if we go back to the question, we have 7% rate and we have $100,000 house. Rate is at the bottom, right here, 7%. And the value of the house is the base of the question, goes right here. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to show you guys is in your book. In your book, you're going to have the same tool, but these bottom ones are reversed. They have rate and then the base. Okay. I used to follow whatever the book said in that sense, and a lot of people explaining this same thing. They have PRB instead of PBR the way I have it. But I've tried over and over and over. I tried over and over and over to what do you call it? To test the way they have it. And over there's errors. If you guys have calculators right now, you can use your phone for now if you want. But if you guys have calculators, I want you to give it a try. I want you to put, so this means 0.07. You already know by now, right? I want you to put on your calculator, let's reverse these. I want you to put on the calculator 0.07 times 100,000. And you got 7,000. Great. So guys, now I want you to do something else. Imagine you don't know how to convert to decimals. Imagine you do not know how to convert to decimals. If you have a smart calculator, it should give you the answer. But because you need to use a plain old simple calculator, it might give you an error. But give it a try. I want you to write 7 on the calculator. 7, hit the percent key, and then times it by 100,000. It's just to prove a point. What answer do you guys have now? Same. Are you using your phone? Are you using a smart calculator? Are you using a plain old simple calculator? What are you using? The phone. All right. So standard, look right here. 7% times 100,000. Did you guys see it? The problem with putting the percent key, if you guys are using a smart calculator, it's easy. But the problem with using a percent key in a plain old simple calculator is this. Let's clear this. Look right here. When you do 7 and then you hit the percent key, it changes automatically to 0. If you do 0 times 100,000, the answer is 0. And that is why I switched the PRB to PBR. Because if you don't know how to convert to decimals, most calculators will convert this to 0. As soon as you put 7% with nothing else, it converts to 0 right away. All right? So, teaching a little different than what the book says. I don't know why. We're going into the 14th edition and they still have not changed this. So after 14 editions, right, let's say one every 2 years, we're looking at 28 years almost of same mistake. All right? So I'm trying to teach you guys the right way. Always use the percent on the right-hand side. Never put the percent on the left side. Always use on the right. You guys got it? Because a lot of you are going to use the shortcut, which is instead of 0.07, you're going to put 7%. So I just want to make sure you have it right. You're supposed to calculate this first times this. So to address Jessiel, that's why I have it from left to right. Value or base goes on the left and percentage goes on the right. Okay? Always. I'm not the math bro, so if I figured it out, I don't understand why these people can't figure it out, right? Crazy. All right, so this was the first variation. The question was, on a 7% commission on the sale of a $100,000 house, how much was the commission? Well, $7,000. That was easy. Let's clear this out now. Let's say the question said, it said, and I'm going to show you how perfect this thing is. Let's say the question said, the broker received $7,000 in commission, and the rate was 7%, the commission rate. What was the sales price of the house? So now we're trying to figure out what was the value of the house, right? This is a variation of the question. Here's what we got. We got a number on top. We have a number in the bottom. What do we do when we have a number on top and one on the bottom? We divide. Number on top divided by the number at the bottom gives us the opposite number. So guys, if you put on your calculator, give it a try. I know you guys know the answer because I just had it here, but make sure you practice. The answer is 100,000. Did everybody get it? Is there anybody that did not get 100,000? Let me know in the chat. Everybody got it? Okay. All right, cool. So let me give you the third variation of this question, the third possible way that they'll ask you the question. Let me clear this. So now they're going to tell you, they give you the value, right? They're going to tell you that the broker received $7,000 on the sale of a $100,000 house. What was the commission rate? Again, we have a number on top. We have a number in the bottom. What do we do again? We divide. So guys, 7,000 divided by 100,000. And the answer is going to be 0.07. Now, 0.07 is still not a percentage, so we still have a problem. We already addressed this, right? If you get 0.07, all we need to do is go 2 to the right and add the percent. So that means 7%. All right, those of you that love math, let me know. You got it? Any questions? Let me know if you have questions. It's very simple so far, right? Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this tool because I did math in a different way. I learned a different way in Portugal. Here, I have to learn math again and again and again. So it keeps on changing for some reason. And the first time I taught this, I always tell this story because the first time I taught this, I taught it the way I know, right? Which is a little different than the way it's taught here. And most of the class did not get it. So then I searched how to teach math for real estate. And this is what I found, the steering wheel. I know I had seen this somewhere, but I didn't know where. Well, in the book. In the actual book, we're going to go over this now. In the actual book, we have this. I just never used it because math is math, I thought, right? And it is. The thing is, here in America and almost everywhere in the world, if you don't show the process, and when you're in school, if you don't show the process the way they want it, it doesn't matter what answer you have, they're going to discount the fact that you did not follow step 1, step 2, step 3, right? Me, I'm not your math teacher, and I'm not teaching you math. I'm just going to show you some shortcuts, some ways to get to the answer, and I don't care how you do it as long as you get to the answer, right? There's always, the cool thing about math is that there's always several ways to get to the same answer, right? Several ways. And I'm going to show you as many as I can. So, Ria says, so far it's easy, but I have a feeling that it's going to get more complicated. I don't think so. Nanette wrote, I learned it another way, scissor. I don't know what scissor is, but I imagine that's what it was. Okay. All right, so let's go here. Rates. So Natalia just wrote, homeschooling my 4th grader during the pandemic was very frustrating, but useful because I remember him learning this type of math. Okay, good. So you're ahead of the game. Yep. During quarantine, I was homeschooling, so I had to relearn math again. Yep. Nanette just wrote, before going there, there's an example. Oh. Here. This right here. So, Nanette, if you see it, they already corrected it, the typo. In the 12th edition, this is one of the things that I disputed. But the way it works, apparently, is every time I dispute 1 or 2 things that are typos or are incorrect in the book, for every 2 things I dispute, they add 2 new things to be incorrect, right? Or they just fix 1. So I've been showing you along the way what are the typos. If you're in the 12th edition, so Dimitar, I know you had the 12th edition, right? Here it's going to show, I think it's here. It shows 25%. I'm glad you're printed now. All right, so on the right-hand side, we are on page 301. I skip a bunch of stuff because the examples, I'm going to give you always the steering wheel as a tool. And I don't know if you guys remember, I did mention when we were doing chapter 16, I said, hey, I'm going to remove all the formulas. So you don't need to know the formulas. You just need to know this tool. And that's the steering wheel. You guys ready? Rates. Now, it says property taxes, transfer taxes, and insurance premiums are usually expressed as rates. Now, a rate is the cost expressed as the amount of cost per unit. For example, tax might be computed at the rate of $5 per $100 of assessed value. So the formula for computing rates is value divided by unit times rate per unit equals total. Now, you can use their process if you want, whatever they have here. You can use this. This is one way to calculate. I'm just going to show you an easier way for this example. So a house has been assessed, and this is true for insurance as well, by the way. A house has been assessed at $90,000 and is taxed at an annual rate of $2.50 per $100 of assessed valuation. What is the yearly tax? Now, what they tell you to do is divide by 100 because it's per $100. But I told you earlier, and in a different chapter as well, that there's a shortcut to this, right? Do you guys remember the shortcut? It's very simple. Done. You don't have to divide by 100 anywhere. You just have to remember that every time you see the word per 100 means percent. So if it's $2.50 per every 100, then it's 2.5%. You guys got it? Any questions here? No questions? All right. So here comes the example. I lost you? Tidy, where did I lose? Where did I lose you? Sorry. I still see you there, so I didn't lose you. I know you're there. Where did I lose you? Am I supposed to move the period? Yeah, if we're doing something else. I'll show you. I'll show you in a second, okay? I'm just showing you the easiest way. If this was $25, if it was $25 per every 100, it would be 25%, okay? So if you were to move the period here, actually, let me show you these examples and then I'll address what you just said, okay? So here we go. The house has been assessed at $90,000. If we go here to the steering wheel, let me erase some stuff. If we go to the steering wheel, where do I put the $90,000? Under value, correct. Perfect. Great, $90,000. And then we have something which is the rate, and it says $2.50 per 100. All right, so here's the thing. If you guys multiply, right, that's why I was showing you the shortcut. If you guys multiply 90,000 times the $2.50, then your answer is going to be a huge number. That's your answer. All right, let me ask you, let's go to logic now. So this is one of the things that could happen to you. I'm going to show you all the possibilities and even mistakes that you guys make sometimes. Right here. Do you think on the property that's assessed at $90,000, do you think we're going to pay $225,000 a year in taxes? It doesn't make sense, right? So one of the things you forgot is that this is per every 100. So what do we have to do? If you get this big number, you have to divide by 100. So what is the answer? It's 2,250. Does that make more sense on a $90,000 house? Okay. Here's the thing you're going to find also. If you do make the mistake of getting this big number, you're going to find that there's 4 answers, and there's one answer that matches the big number minus those 2 zeros. Right? So it's very similar. Big number, and we have an answer that matches. Then you're probably going to realize, okay, I forgot to divide by 100. Okay? Now, The other thing you could do is whatever the book says, which is before you do this calculation, divide this one by 100. That's what it says there. You divide the value by 100, you get 900. And then you multiply by $2.50. Okay. What I was showing you, right? What I was showing you is that because it's per every $100, that means per cent. If it's per cent, all we have to do, guys, very simple, take the dollar sign out, add the percent sign. Sorry. Add the percent sign. So let me address real quick. If you guys do the math, it's going to be 2,250. Give it a try. Now, tidy. We added the percent sign. Remember, it was a dollar amount. Okay? The converting to decimals is a little different. For instance, if you're going to divide, let's say $2, as you guys are trying, $2.50. If we were to divide by 100, which is what they say, it's per every $100, then the number you would get would be 0.025. You see what I'm saying? Okay. What I showed you is you don't have to, in this case, you don't have to divide by 100, but you can convert it immediately to a percentage. Now, what is 2.5%? 2.5%, if we're converting to decimals, we're going to put, if we're converting to decimals, we're going to go 2 to the left, and you put that point right there. It equals the same thing as this. See, the thing in the question itself, there's a dollar sign. That's why we don't convert this to decimals. This is not converted to decimals. If you had a percentage amount, then you convert to decimals. Okay? So if you were to put the decimal amount here, it would be 0.025, because that's what 2.5% represents in decimals. You got it? Okay. All right, guys, let me know. Let me know how you guys are doing. Easy so far? I'm trying to break it down as much as I can. Shaisha, you're saying no, or that was something else? I can't hear you. You want me to repeat? Okay. So forget what I just addressed as far as converting to decimals, because that was just I was addressing Tidy separately on her question. If we're looking at the question itself, okay. All you need to remember from the question, all you need to remember from the question is the numbers that you're using. Did you get how I got to this or no? Okay, so you got this. So you need to remember numbers. Guys, I don't care about formulas. I care about you remembering the numbers, taking them out of here, dumping into that tool, and getting the answer. It's as simple as that. So what numbers do we have? We have the 90,000, which is the value. We dumped it in there already, right? Good so far? Great. So that's step number one. Step number two was figuring out that the rate is $2.50 per 100. And per 100 means percent. Right? That's how we started this chapter. So what number do we need to put in the steering wheel? We need to put 2.5%. Or, as I said, 0.025. If you put it in this way, so in this format, so value and then rate, then your calculator is always going to give you the right answer. That's why I keep on addressing what's percent and what's a decimal, right? But if you put it this way, then the decimals never matter because the answer is always going to be correct. Okay? So you're going to put 90,000 in the part, but here's the thing. We're trying to figure out what a part is. Remember this. Taxes, right? Value, rate, sorry. These are the three elements for taxes. There's the tax that you have to pay. There's the value of the property being assessed, and there's the rate at what it's being assessed, right? 3 items. Why would I put the 90,000 on top? 90,000 is the value. It's what the property is worth, is the assessed value. It's what it's worth. Value always goes in the bottom right here, right? As far as taxes, this is how much you pay. On top, it's always a part or a portion of the value. So on top, it could not be the 90,000. On top, it has to be whatever you're going to pay in taxes. Does that make sense? And that's what we're trying to figure out, is how much we're going to pay in taxes. Isn't what we're going to pay in taxes a smaller portion of this value? Great. So it's a slice of this value, correct? Every time it's a slice of a value, goes here. And then value, and then rate. Okay? And if you put in your calculator, because they are at the bottom, what we do is multiply. So if you put in your calculators right now, the answer is 2,250, and this is annual. Okay? Annual tax that you have to pay. So just by understanding this trick right here of the dollars converted to percentage, just by understanding this trick, you go straight to the answer. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to divide by 100. Nothing. It's just drop the dollar sign, add the percent sign, and boom, answer. You got it? Lita just asked. I'm going to go several times back and forth to the chat because I want to make sure everybody understands. Okay. So Lita just asked, is this the same way if we want to calculate a percentage of a down payment? Absolutely. If they give you 3.5%, if you give you 3.5% down payment, you would put here. And 3.5% of what? The sale value is 90,000, for instance. So 90 times 3.5% will tell you how much you have to come up with as down payment. Or if they gave you the down payment, this amount, and they tell you what the value is, you want to figure out what the down payment represents? Well, that would be the percentage. So down payment divided by the value gives you percent. Guys, this is what I do every day now. For the past 4 years after I learned this, how to use this, for the past 4 years, in my mind, I just figure what goes on top, what goes in the bottom, and divide or multiply. Because that, guys, is the biggest challenge that people have, is figuring out when to divide or when to multiply. That's what I see all the time in the math questions. A lot of you make mistakes because you multiply instead of dividing or vice versa. It's not that you don't know the information you're pulling, it's just you make the mistake of multiplying when you should have divided or dividing when you should have multiplied. You guys got it? I know for some of you this chapter is going to be very boring because you got it, and I'm sorry. But my goal is to make sure everybody gets used to this and never make a mistake again. All right? Even those that know, maybe this will help you forever. That's what's been doing for me, helping me. All right, let's clear this out. I just showed you guys right now another formula that we don't need to use, right? Didn't I just prove that? The tax rate has a formula, just like the insurance rates have a formula. Did we use formulas here? Did we use formulas? No. We just extracted 2 pieces of information, dumped into two of the open slots, and we figure out the third one. Simple. No formulas. But I'm going to keep on proving to you guys how this steering wheel is perfect. Scrolling to the bottom. Right here. Now, this one, it's going to make you guys think a little bit. Because the first answer you guys are going to give me is going to be incorrect, by the way. Just giving you a heads up. You guys are going to be wrong. Let's read. It says, a home was purchased a year ago for $172,300. Property in the neighborhood is said to be increasing in value at a rate of 3% annually. What is the current market value of the real estate? So guys, let's go to the steering wheel. What information do we have? We have 172,300, right? Where do we put that number? Let me know in the chat. I don't want the answer, Mauricio, but thank you. I want to know, where do we put? Let's go step by step, guys. For those of you that have difficulty, I prefer to go step by step. So no answers. Let's go step by step. Just answer what I ask as we go. So where do we put the 172,300? Bottom left, value 172,300. Perfect. Because this is what the property was worth when we bought it. Got it? Now, we have another number. And that number is the rate. Right? That goes on the bottom right. Question. What is the number that I put on rate? What is the number that I'm going to put here? And let me go to the chat so you guys see it. Wrong. Wrong. I told you you're going to be wrong. Where did you get 12? Wrong. Nope. Keep going. I have one person that gave me something right. I mean, you guys are half wrong. I'm just going to show you later why you're half wrong. 6%. Where did we get 6%? 0.0025? Where did we get that? Let me know. You're just throwing stuff out there. Got it. 3% of 172 times 12. Woo. All right, my question is, the property is increasing in value at a rate of 3%. What is the number we need to use under rate? So far, 3 people got it. Four people got it. 5 people got it. The majority still doesn't have it. All right. Here. Let's look right here at the question. You guys ready? Pay attention because this is important. The home was purchased for $172,300. That means the value of the property was $172,300, correct? Okay. Now, what did they say is that it's increasing. It's not the year ago. What they say is that it's increasing in value at a rate of 3% annually. If it's increasing in value, guys, remember I said that you have one whole pizza pie equals 100%? Well, this is the whole pizza pie. That's what you purchased for, $172,300. Plus, it increased an additional slice of 3%. See, the current value of the property is 3% more than what it was when you bought it. It doesn't matter if it's a year ago, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. It's worth 3% more than what it was when you bought it. You guys got it? So if it's worth 3% more, then you have to plus. And that equals 103%. The current value of this property, is 103% of what it was when I bought it. Okay? So if we go here, the number we need is 103 or 1.03 because it's one whole unit plus 3% of another. All right? And now you can put the answer being 177,469. Now, this property is currently worth 177,469. If you guys use the 3%, let's go back to the 3%. Let's say you did that, right? Because that's what most of you did. If you guys use the 3%, then the number you got was 5,169. Let's say you use the 3%. 5,169, correct? Is that what you guys got? Okay. Do you think 5,169 is the current value of the property if it increased in value? No. So then you would have to go here, 172,300, which was the purchase price, and you have to add 5,169, which was the increase in value. And the current value is 177,469. Current value. You guys got it? So it's not that you're 100% wrong. It's just that you're putting extra steps that you need a calculator. You got it? By understanding that if it increased in value, then it's plus that increase, then it's a shortcut because everybody can do out of the top of their head 100% times 3% equals 103. If you did this way, then you might need a calculator. Luckily, these are small numbers, easy to go, right? Did you guys get it? It's just shortcuts. And I'm going to give you another shortcut. Ready? For the same thing. Let me go to the calculator. Can you guys see the calculator? Okay, ready? Look at this. 172,300. In your calculator, 172,300 plus 3% equals. Don't forget to hit the equal sign. Look at that. It increased in value 3%. Give it a try in your calculators real quick, please. Because I know if you're using your iPhone, you need to definitely hit the equal sign. If you're using the Android, any Android, I don't think you need the equal sign. It'll just give you values. I know one of them you have to go an extra step. But let me know if all your calculators got this answer. Yeah, you could do that. So Giselle, I'm not sorry, not Giselle, Maria, you could do that. That's what I was showing you before from the steering wheel. You can do definitely that, right? What I want you to do, give it a try as a shortcut, is instead of doing 1.03, I'm just showing you different ways to get there. That's all. You can do a shortcut, which is 172,300 plus the 3% increase. Okay, plus the 3% increase. I want to make sure that it works all different ways, works in your calculator, and then you pick one. Let me know if it works. That's all. Jessiel, what are you laughing at? Because I made a mistake calling Maria Jessiel. Sorry. Okay, just did it and got the same result. Tidy, what's the, you said equals 3%. So what happened there? Yara, did you get it? Yara? Let me know in the chat. Great shortcut. Thank you. Yeah, you have to have, so Tidy, what I was saying is, you have to click definitely the plus sign. So it's 172,300. And you have to click the plus sign, the 3%. The thing is, On Android, for instance, or at least on mine, it doesn't show me 5,169. It gives me the answer. On iOS, you have to click, just like here, you have to click equal in order to get the actual answer. That's what I was saying. But it's still plus 3%. Okay? All right, guys? Let's try the next one right here. All right, so this is just explaining again what I just said. They did not ask you how much did the house increase in value, right? They asked you how much is the current worth. If they ask you how much did the house appreciate, then it's the 5,169. That would be the answer. They're just asking what is the current value. And boom, the answer. Tidy is asking, are you allowed to bring a calculator to the test? Okay. So a few locations don't allow you to bring your calculator, and they provide their own. I always recommend that you buy one, bring it with you. If they say yes, you got it. If they say no, they'll provide it. But at least you have the $1 calculator that you already practiced with. Okay? But definitely bring with you. No phones, no smart calculators like a mortgage calculator or scientific calculator. Nope. Simplest POS. POS means, let's see if you guys know what POS means. On live TV, go. No, not for calculators, not point of sale. Not DOS, not Department of State. It said POS, P, Peter. What else? No, nothing. So Juliana doesn't want to answer. And of course Mauricio would, and Courtney as well. Nope. Nope. You guys are wrong. I knew that would come. Nope. Anybody else? You didn't want to say it, but that's what you thought? I know everybody thought that. Yeah. I already said it like 3 times what it was, but anybody else? Something operating system. No, but that was a good one. Tidy was the closest one to it. It's actually plain old simple. POS, plain old simple calculator. I said that a million times already. Plain old simple, POS. Your minds are terrible. Good. It doesn't have to stick because you only need that calculator once anyway. All right, let's go back to this. I just have fun for years trying to figure out how your mind works. And for some reason, I always get the right one. If I got it from TikTok, I'm sorry, TikTok did not exist 4 years ago. It was Musical.ly. So no. All right, let's go to Wheel of Fortune. Let's go to the right-hand side, that page. Ready? It says right here, I don't know if you guys remember the formula for this, but it says right here, an investor wants to make an offer on an apartment building whose annual income is $225,000 after deducting for expenses. To go through with the purchase, the investor insists on a 10% capitalization rate. What is the most that she would pay for that property? Do you guys remember cap rates? Okay. So what is the formula for this? Do we need formulas? This was chapter 16 when we talked about the income approach. Do we need formulas? The formula is income equals rate times value, or rate divided by value equals income, or value divided by income equals rate. Those are the formulas. But do we need them? The answer is no. This is the only thing you need. Let's erase everything so we can put here the information that we just got. So far, 3 different types of formulas, right? So the commission, rates, and now income, cap rates. And I'm going to show you again, one more time, that this tool is the only tool you'll ever need. Ready? We know that this property brings $225,000 after expenses. Because remember, we can only calculate the income approach if we have the net operating income. That's after expenses. So where does income go? Before you answer, make sure you check the cheat sheet before you answer. Where does income go? And Ria got it. $225,000. Because income is a portion, just like Juliana just answered, is a portion of the whole value. Income is a portion of the value, isn't it? We have a yearly income that determines the value of the property. So income can never be bigger than the value. So $225,000. This is the annual NOI right there. Annual NOI, net operating income. And we're trying to figure out value, guys. The question was, how much would she pay for the property? Well, then that's the value. That's what we're trying to figure out. But we have a number here, a percentage, 10%. Where does percentage go? Bottom right, or 0, 10% or 0.1. Question. We have a number on top, we have a number in the bottom. What do? Divide. So the answer is this property is worth $2,250,000 if they expect to pay to get a 10% cap rate. You guys got it? Yep. Throw me questions. I see some worried faces. Questions. What did you guys not get? Questions. Go ahead, ask. We're done with percentages, so I want to move on to area. What you guys not get? There's only 2 numbers given to you in that question. And those 2 numbers fall into 2 blank spots. You just need to know pretty much what goes on top, what goes in the bottom. Okay? All you had to do here was divide. If it's a top number, always divides by the bottom number. Now, why did I put $225,000 on top? Because it's income. And if you guys look at your cheat sheet, that's why I said go to the cheat sheet that I gave you. All right? I wrote that the number on top, look right here, I told you that number on top is P, and P represents part, portion, or income. So every time it's a smaller portion of the big number, of the value, it definitely goes on top. Definitely goes on top. In this case, part, portion, or income. The bottom is always going to be the base, the value, or the whole. And on the right is always going to be rate, percentage, or interest. So if they gave us 2 of those numbers, we just need to figure out the third. Simple. Part, portion or income. Base, value or whole. Rate, percentage, or interest. And that's what PBR stands for. You guys good? All right. So if there's no questions, I'm going to move forward. Okay. So right at the bottom of that page, it's an important point. And I already wrote here, what it was. This number is always annual. So if they gave you a monthly number, then you always have to multiply it by 12 before using it in the steering wheel. So you need to remember that if it's rate, it's usually annual. If it's income, it's annual. So if you're trying to figure out rate of something, always multiply by 12 if they give you monthly. If they're asking you what's the monthly, that means they gave you the annual. You have to divide by 12. Okay? So this is one of the mistakes most people make, is forget to either multiply or divide by 12 depending on what the question is. So if they gave you monthly, one of the things you have to do is add all the rentals from this property. There's 4 rentals minus the expense, and the monthly NOI is $1,975. But I told you that the annual number is what we need. The annual NOI is multiplying by 12. So 1,975 times 12, and the annual NOI is 23,700, and that's the number we're going to put into the steering wheel. Okay? Now, in this particular question, I know I didn't give you the whole question. I'm just pointing out the multiplying by 12. In this particular question, they expect 11% cap rate, and the income is 23,000. The number's on top, the other one's at the bottom. We divide. So the value of this property is 215,454. So you have to remember the number that goes on top. It's always annual. Okay? Good? All right. Now, area and volume. What I'm going to show you guys is very simple. The book does not have the steering wheel for area and volume, but I adapted the steering wheel for area and volume. And you have that in your cheat sheet as well, which is this. See, what I'm going to show you in a little bit is that for area and volume, for you to figure out the area of a rectangle, usually we have width and we have length. To figure out the area, because width and length are outside of the rectangle, we have to multiply. We multiply the width by the length and gives us the area. Okay? If you have a number inside and a number outside, and I gave you in the cheat sheet right here the variations of the formula, okay? But forget formulas. Always draw the area that you're trying to define, draw the area, and then figure out if they gave you this number, let's say 10,000 square feet as an example. If they gave you this number and then they give you the width, let's say 80 feet, if you have a number inside and you have a number outside, you have to divide those numbers in order to get the other number. You got it so far? Okay. So it says right here, area divided by width equals length. And let's go back. Let's say they gave you length and you're trying to figure out the width. Well, let's say 200 here, 200 feet. Well, area divided by length equals width. So it's the inside number, again, divided by outside number gives us the other number. So it's the same concept as the steering wheel. See, area has three elements: width, length, area, right? Percentage problems have three elements. All I did, again, is adapt the steering wheel to this. So let's go to the book and a few things you need to know. One of the things you need to know is this. The first figure given always represents front feet or frontage. And the first figure given, like right here, is the width. Second figure given is the length. And this is area. So if the first figure given is always front feet, then this equals width. Front feet, frontage, or width mean exactly the same. Why do we need to know this? Because you might have a question that says that these lots in this area are being sold at $200 a front foot. Well, then the only number we need is the width, right? $400 a front foot, then it's 400 times 100, and we know how much the lot actually costs. Do we need the length? No. If they told you that they're being sold by linear feet, then we have to calculate 100 times 200 times 100 times 200, which would be linear feet is the whole box. It's not the area, it's the outside, it's the box, so linear feet. The other thing to remember is this. Area is always expressed in square units. So if they tell you that the area is half an acre is not square units. So if they tell you the area is half an acre, then you have to divide 1 acre by 2. And that brings it down to square feet. Okay? You guys got it? We good so far? Yes, no, maybe. I got a few, I don't know. All right. Don't worry, I'm going to give you an opportunity to calculate in a little bit. All right, as far as triangles, let's go to triangles real quick. You want me to repeat? Which parts? Sorry. Don't say everything. What do you want me to repeat? The acre converted to square footage. So all I was saying is that when you get to rectangles and triangles and all that, we have width, we have length, we have area. Okay? All I said is that area is always square feet. So if the question states that this, the question says that this area is half an acre, right? Half an acre. An acre is not square feet. So you need to remember, right? You need to remember how much 1 acre is. And 1 acre is 4 squirrels going down Route 35 at 60 miles an hour. Remember that? So if it's half an acre, you need to divide by 2. And that is 21,780 square feet. So right here is the number we need, is 21,780. So you got to bring down from half an acre to square feet. That's what you need to do. All right? Just don't forget the squirrels. All right. So as far as triangles, guys, you can go through whatever it says here if you want. I'm going to show you a different way. I want you to correct one of the typos that hasn't been corrected in about 10 editions, which is this. Right at the bottom, it says 1500 multiplied by 2. So if you have a physical book, please correct it's divide by 2. Okay? Because 1500 times 2 would be 3000, not 750. So it's a typo, sorry. Moses, you're asking if it's a test question. Which one? The square feet? The acre? It might be. There might be a question where it talks about maybe 180 acres, and how many lots can you build in 180 acres based on minimum square footage. So you need to convert back to square feet, divide by the area of each lot, approved. So yeah. And Tidy just lost her hair. She's doing like, done. Don't worry, it's not that hard. You'll get it. You'll get it. Okay? So let's address real quick. It's 8:05. Let's address real quick triangles. You guys, in your cheat sheet, right below, I added this. Triangles. Okay? Now, here's what I want to show you guys. The way we calculate triangles is the base times height divided by 2 equals area. I want you to forget base times height. In fact, I did give you an alternative. What I want to show is this. Triangle. Right? You guys see it? You have your cheat sheet as well? Triangle, right? But then what I did here, if you guys notice, is I closed the box. And when I close this box, is this a triangle? When I close it, it is no longer a triangle. It is now a square or rectangle. Okay? How do we calculate the area of a square or rectangle? Well, width times length. So let's take out this h and the b. Okay? Width times length equals area. But a triangle is not a square, correct? Here's what I want to show you guys. If I put a line right here, okay, you guys are going to notice that this part right here that's missing from the triangle, this part right here, is a mirror of this part, right? So that means that this part right here is a mirror of this one, correct? So that means that if this was a square, being mirrors, if this was a square, that means that it's half of the square that's missing, correct? So the formula that I put here for you guys is, instead of height or base times height or height times base, whatever you want, the formula that I put is, remember to close the square. If you have a triangle, close the square and use the same formula. Width times length, but because it's half of a square, we're going to divide by 2. You guys got it? Remember that a triangle is half of a square. So all you need is close the box, width times length divided by 2, and you got your area. Is that helpful? Okay, I know you're not taught like that in school probably, but instead of base times height, we're not going to go into something scientific and where we need to, or you're not going to become architects right now and we need to figure out actual angles and all that stuff. So keep it simple. Triangle, half of a square. So if you close the box, more confusing? If you close the box, look, this right here, look, right here. If you put them together, it's the same as a triangle. So the square is missing half of it, and that's what makes a triangle. In fact, let me show you here. I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to make two different types of triangles. Are these two different triangles? Yes? These are two way different triangles, aren't they? But if I close, it, the concept is the same. This one, this part that's missing, this half that's missing, is an exact mirror of this. So that means that half of this rectangle is missing. You got it? That's why it's width times length, as if it was a rectangle. And then we take the half that's missing, so we divide by 2. Okay? And here, right here, is the same thing. It's just that the half is distributed differently. It's on both sides. We close the box, and the half is on both sides, but it's still half that's missing. So again, width times length divided by 2. Okay? So area is always, always, always closing that box and divided by 2. So regular formula divided by 2. Dimitar wrote, on the first you have width and length. I'm sorry, I'm lost. On the first I have what? I'm a little lost. Never mind. Okay, I love those. All right, you guys got it now? We're good? Here's the thing. We have another one to know. Irregular shapes. Okay? In your book, it says 16, 20, and 6. And this is the measurements top to bottom, to the side, and then the full base. Okay, this is in the book. So, Tidy, I'm going to give you an example right now with this, okay? So my question is, we guys already know how to do rectangles, and you know how to do triangles. What are we going to do with irregular shapes? What we need to do with irregular shapes is divide them or cut them into known shapes. Okay? So if we do this, all right? If we do this, don't we have two known shapes now? We have the rectangle and we have a triangle. You guys good so far? Okay. So, because we separated this line right here, does the rectangle have 20 on the base? No. It has 16 on its base because it ends there and it ends here. We got it? So that means that this height over here is 6. Are we good so far? Great. To figure out the area of a rectangle, what is the formula? Well, we have outside numbers because the area is the inside number. If we have outside numbers, it's always outside number times the other outside number. So 6 times 16 is, I just lost myself. I just had a brain freeze. And I didn't have anything cold. 96, there you go. I knew that's what it was. 96 square feet. All right. So this is the area right here, 96 square feet. But now we have another area, which is the triangle. I think I already told you guys how to figure out what the area for the triangle is, right? The problem is we only have one number. That is the problem. To figure out area, we got to have at least two numbers. What are we missing? What we're missing is closing the box. Okay? So now that we close the box, pay attention. The base is 20, right? So if I close the box, that means that on top, it would have been 20 as well, correct? The number in the bottom, if it stretches all the way, then on top will be the same. But is it 20 the number we have? No, it's 16. So we need to figure out the difference between these two, which is 4. This is what's missing on top. 4 feet is missing on top because it ends at 16. Now, do we have two numbers for the triangle? We do. We have the 6 and the 4. But what is the formula? What is the formula for triangles? This is not part of it, so let me just cut it out right here. Thank you, Mauricio. So the formula is, thanks Jeff, thanks Tidy, very good, divided by 2. So what number do we have? 6 times 4 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. So 12 square feet. So this is the area of the rectangle. This is the area of the triangle. But if you're trying to calculate the area of the whole room, let's say this is your room, do we need these separate numbers? No. See, when we separate it into two known shapes, now we need to add them all together. So the number that we need is triangle plus rectangle. So the total area is 108 square feet. You guys got it? Any questions? Let me know in the chat. If you got questions, let me know in the chat, please. Good. There you go. Tidy. Got it. Anybody else? All right. So I'm assuming there's no questions. And since there are no questions, guys, it is now 8:20. And we're going to go back to the book. All right. There's nothing else to learn aside from volume, but in the state exam they don't ask you volume, so I skipped that altogether. Okay. But I want to show you this. On page 305, 306, 307, 308, and 309, there's a little bit over 30 questions for you guys to do over the next 10 minutes. I'm just kidding. Here's what you're going to do. Because I won't have time to go over all of them. Here's what you guys are going to do. Ready? I know you have the book that's highlighted. Okay? What I want you to do in the student portal or the book that I asked you to download, the second book I got you to download the PDF, it doesn't come highlighted with the answers. So whether you print just the whatever's at the end or you get the whole book and just go through it, I want you to do question number 1. I'm going to mark them here so you see it. number 1, number 5. So take a note of this, because this is what I want you to do. This is going to be your homework, and that's how we're going to start tomorrow, okay? I don't know if, I guess tomorrow didn't get it. He's not that excited. Did you understand what I just said, tomorrow? Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. All right, so you're going to have number 1, number 5, 7. These are, some of these are the most complicated ones you'll get, okay? Number 9, you don't have to do it for tomorrow. You have to do all of them. But number 9, you don't have to do it for tomorrow. But I want you to write page 196. Because you're going to need the table on page 196. Okay? Maria, we're on page 305, 306, 307, 308, and 309. But we have question number 1, 5, 7. These are for tomorrow. It's the first thing we're going to do. 7, 11, 13, and 22. What I want you guys to notice is that it's the first one of each category. Do you notice that it's divided into categories? Right? We have commissions, insurance and taxes, investments. So just do the first one as a homework, because that's the only ones we're going to address tomorrow. So we don't waste tomorrow doing this, okay? But that's your homework. Any questions? Okay? If you want to do all of them, because again, you should, if you want to do all of them, you can. And if you have any questions after tomorrow, after we go over the core ones that I told you, 1, 5, 7, 11, 13, and 22. So Maria, number 9, you don't. I just told you as a separate thing, okay? It's not. You can do it. I just give you as a reference that page 196 is where the table is. So it's 1, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 22. Great. If you have any questions doing the other ones after I go over these core ones that we have in the chat, right? So let me go here. After we go over these ones, if you still have questions, then you send me those questions separately, or at the end. I don't mind staying a little bit longer. If you guys leave, you leave. But at the end of tomorrow and Friday, I'll stay longer for you guys. So if you still have questions, I will stay here. I will address them for as long as I have to stay. So if I have to stay until midnight with you guys, I will. All right? Whoever wants to stay. You're not obligated to stay. But that's for tomorrow. Did you guys get it? Do you have any questions? Anything you want to address now? You're welcome, Leslie. All right? So guys, if there's no questions, I won't do number 1 right now. Tomorrow. It's be tomorrow. The first thing at 5:30. First thing. So make sure, guys, please try to be on time. I'm not going to delay tomorrow, okay? I'm going to go straight into it. So 5:30 tomorrow. I'm sure I'm making tomorrow happy today. 8:23. Guys, good night. Thank you. 5:30. Bye. Dimitar did not realize.